Hello and welcome back to the Radio Gamescast. As always, I'm your host Ryan, and I'm joined by my lovely cohort of co-hosts today, Alex and Alex,
Hello.
and
Hello.
Wyatt.
Hello.
And
Where's the
Brett's a
other
ghost
Wyatt?
today, but he is on trial for his crimes of the past year, and will be suffering accordingly in
I
the
think
next
there's a
month
law
or two.
against
Sentence has already been decided.
Yeah.
Listen,
trying someone
there's
without
been
them
some
being
disagreement.
present.
There's been some disagreements with his pay, and so we
Yeah.
haven't had him on the show.
Wait a
He's
minute, you
asking
guys are
for
getting
more.
paid?
Ah, shit.
Oh, we weren't supposed to tell Alex. Damn it.
All right.
Cat's out
Well,
of the bag.
this is our wrap up for the 2024 Critic Games league that we do every year. This has our picks of last year that we thought were going to do well or poorly, and turns out some of us were correct and some of us were not. So we're going to go through and start with the lowest scoring here.
I was
and
correct. I think if we go back to that first video, I said that I will end up in last. So in a way, I'm correct.
Well, we knew
Okay,
that
well,
because
but
you
also-
bombed yourself in the draft. Nobody except for you was under any illusion that you wouldn't be in last place.
Oh, I wasn't
was
under
no
the illusion I was
convincing.
going to win. I just thought maybe if I got any points
You
on
were-
Suicide
Yeah.
Squad, I would feel like a winner.
We were biting at your picks like rabid dogs to counterpick them.
Listen, Alex, I'm gonna say this, okay? In your defense, you actually ended up getting more points than I thought you were going to. I didn't actually think you were gonna get over 100.
I was
mean,
going
it's
for that
fair
perfectly
then.
balanced 0.
Yeah. All right. Well, as a reminder as to how this works, every year we do this, and the winner gets to choose a punishment, both for the group as a
boy.
whole and for every individual person that participated in that league and failed. So we do still have some unaccounted for punishments from last year that Brett has handed down due to the tie victory between Wyatt and Brett last year.
We had a lot of
What a time.
punishments to dish out last year.
Oh yeah, and those will be getting dealt with as Brett becomes more available for us to film with. But
Bad
those are all
Ranch
waiting in
has
the
made
wings
it
as
to my
well.
game of the year list.
Once his pay dispute gets
Yeah,
settled,
once
should
his
very
contracts, get settled, he for a little bit was going to go over to WWE, and we had to pull him back. Too much wrestling. All right, so we're going to
Our
start at the
001
bottom
subsidiary channel.
and work our way up. So, Alex, you had a pretty terrible time, to be honest.
I did, but I feel like there's a lot of good picks in here of the ones that came
There
out
are.
and
There's some
weren't
diamonds
basically
in the
meme picks.
The thing is,
I
you got
can't
Hades
lie
2,
and tell you that,
which was
Killer Clowns from
know.
Outer Space and Suicide Squad weren't just picks.
Yeah.
Well, basically meme picks.
I do think there were some intelligent picks here, and I do Nightingale. I was on your side for Nightingale.
I think that besides
which
those couple of
didn't
meme
launch
picks,
super well.
my biggest issue was that I simply didn't have that many games released.
You also counterpicked good games. That
I did
definitely.
counterpick.
Two of them didn't come out, but one of them was a good game. So let's go into your scores here. Hades 2 out of 90. I think we all are pretty happy with that and expect that. It's in early access this year. We made the exception that we would allow early access if it got a score. So that was one of the rule changes this year. Then you picked Nightingale, which this is laid out in the order of the draft. So this is your order of what you picked these games in compared to everyone
This
else.
is a total different order than what I'm seeing.
Yeah, you can. There's a thing on the top right that you can toggle. But this is just so we know that you picked Hades 2 first and then immediately jumped to Nightingale. And then after Nightingale decided you didn't want to pick any more good games and you went to Suicide Squad. Is there any justification you can give for that decision?
Mostly because I thought it would be funny.
Okay, great.
Other than that, it was because I actually thought gameplay-wise that game looked interesting. And I will stand by that. I feel like the gameplay in that game is fairly fun. It's just the gameplay loop is not that fun, and the writing is, well, your mileage may vary on the writing. I didn't think it was awful, but like it was not. I don't think anyone would say it's of Arkham quality. But
That's fair.
basically, I thought it would be funny. If I won any points, I would have felt like a winner.
Yeah, I also think this is, you had a number of games that I'm actually really surprised didn't come out this year. First Berserker, I was pretty sure was going to be releasing, and did
They
not.
showed gameplay for
Yeah.
that. So, as the year went on, I was like, come on, maybe just squeeze in at December. And it never
Robbed
did.
again.
And then,
Yeah.
we didn't hear till Game Awards anything further about that.
Mhm.
At least that I was following.
World of Warcraft expansion did super well. That got you a bunch of points. Vampire the Masquerade
I'll be honest,
2.
that one I felt like I put on there just because I knew it would give me points.
That's the
That
name
was
of the game.
guaranteed, basically.
That's the name of the game. Hey, no judgment.
Hey,
Next year,
those are
all
yearly
my
games and MMO expansions are just free points generally, except when they're not, like Dawn Trail, which was unfortunate. But
we'll get to that. We will.
Yeah, we'll get to that. That's in my list. Vampire the Masquerade 2, Swap Development Studios, still hasn't come out. And then you got a swing of a bunch of like pretty good to middling games, with Helldivers through Killer Clowns, which is probably the lowest of that bunch. But you also had Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which I'm surprised we let slip this far down the list.
I don't think it was even announced when we picked games, did we?
I don't know. It might have been a thing. I think it had been, we talked about, like, we know that there's an Indiana Jones game in dev, but we didn't know it was going to come out this year or something.
When the first trailer came out, I went straight in and picked that game, if I recall correctly.
That makes sense, because it's after your Dream and Nightmare, which did not happen for you, aside from Borderlands getting announced, but nothing really being known about. And to clarify how the Dream and Nightmare will work going forward into this new league, if someone puts something on the Dream and Nightmare and it got announced, they get to have that game without anyone else picking it for the next year.
So I get Borderlands 4?
So you get Borderlands 4, should you want it.
I'm more hopeful about it than I was when I picked it as my nightmare.
Great. Then we had a couple of things that didn't come out again with Dune Awakening and Crimson Desert, both of which Crimson Desert I'm really excited for. Dune Awakening, I don't know. I'm iffy on that one, but
I counterpicked it.
Yeah,
that's a valid counterpick for sure.
Yeah, you started picking up some good stuff towards the end of the year with Aliens, Marvel, and Legend of Zelda.
Behind the scenes here, I spent $90 of my dollars on Legend of Zelda because I was so behind in
Oh my
points.
God.
That's why I had so much money that
you
I
had to hit
no
the triple
one else
digits.
is getting it.
Then you counterpicked Space Parade, which I have to judge you for, and
this was my biggest.
You're also a Warhammer fan, so I don't understand that one.
For next week, I think it's going to be my game of the year.
Perfect.
Just like me with Liza P, huh?
I had some, like, I don't know, something was in my brain at that point. It was just like pure pessimism. I was like too excited for this game that I was like, it can't be.
Oh no, I think in the moment, wasn't it that someone picked it before you and you got so mad you counterpicked it out of spite, being like, I hope it does bad.
There might have been some of that too.
Yeah, maybe.
I think Ryan picked that.
You also picked. I was a skeptic on your other two counterpicks, but they did work out for you in that neither Assassin's Creed Shadows or Metal Gear Solid Delta released this year. We don't know what those would have scored. We'll see in the new year.
Like half of my reasoning for counterpicking him was that I didn't think Snake Eater was going to come out, and I thought there was a chance it was bad.
Hey, you were right about it. Okay, next was Wyatt, who landed at 131 points. So a pretty big difference already.
So this year, I felt betrayed on a couple different levels. I think for the most part, I made some pretty good decisions here. And what happened was things weren't rated properly, in my opinion, or things just didn't come out that probably would have net me a decent amount of points.
Yeah.
The entire bottom of your list there did not come out.
I
did make some very silly... My biggest problem also was that I was hanging on to things way too long when I should have dropped them. Because I thought maybe, they would release later in the year, but that really screwed me over.
Yeah, some of your picks after not having things released were a little questionable, like Yars Rising. But a lot of it did work out.
That one made perfect sense to me, actually. It's a consistent developer that is good, that has usually like very consistently pretty good games, and they're usually good about bringing old IP back and giving it like a nice new coat of paint for, you know, a newer audience. They're usually really good at this. So I don't know what happened.
Yeah. All right.
Whatever.
You also had Space Marine Final Fantasy 16's DLC, which did decent, but not amazing. And the thing I think that you and I were both really like excited about that didn't do great was Flintlock.
Oh yeah,
Which did
that
not
came out
do
this
great.
year.
We did
It
a
did
whole,
come out this year, yes.
we did an episode of our Games
Yeah, because
Club
I picked it
episode
for
where we
Game
talked
Pass, I
about-
think, right?
Yeah, we talked about it, and it's not. I think 69 is pretty fair. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's not, you know, it's not amazing.
It didn't blow any of our minds.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, Wolf Among Us 2 didn't come out, which is unfortunate because I'm also very excited for that game and want it to
Yep.
come out. Brothers of the Tale of Two Sons remake, I think everyone just said it was kind of not as, like, it's a remake of an impressive game and wasn't that impressive as a remake compared to the original. I'm actually surprised Sandland scored this low because I think
Yeah, me too.
Sandland
Oh yeah.
From
had
what
a
I
lot of
understand,
hype
most
around it.
I really
well, it
want to
had
try
It had
that.
a lot of hype, and from what I understand, most people were pretty satisfied with it. So
Yeah. Pacific Drive 2. I'm honestly surprised Pacific Drive was not a little bit higher. It makes sense that
I
it's
was
not
a
like
li-
crazy high.
I'm
but-
not too shocked because it's a very niche game, so I could
Yeah.
see its scores getting affected by people who aren't in that niche, which is understandable. But it was a bit of a risky pick, I think.
Yeah. And they did a sequence of pretty solid picks, I would say, with Visions of Mana got the studio defunded, but was a great, I think, a very
Oh.
cool JRPG. Age of Mythology Retold and Neva, and Bo Path of the Two Lotus, I think were all really good picks.
Neva deserves to be higher. Neva deserves to be mid-90s easily.
I still got to play it. Can't
So
comment
good.
on Neva. And then I remember you were waiting for ages for Self Loss to get a score, and it finally got a perfect score of 70, leaving you with nothing either way. Which
Yep.
Oh.
sat on that for a while. And then, yeah, a bunch of your stuff just didn't come out, and Mario Party Jamboree did well, but you did do
Monument
good
Valley
counter
did come
picks.
out. Monument Valley did come out. It just didn't get a review score.
Really? That's surprising to me.
Because
Huh.
Monument Valley is a great, really cool series if you've never played it before.
I wonder, is
Mobile
it
game,
Apple Arcade
super
exclusive or
cool.
something? Or Netflix exclusive?
I'm not sure.
That might be
I'm
why,
not really
if
sure.
it is.
Um,
But yeah, you did good counter picks of picking things that, had they come out, probably would have been huge point losses for you, but none of them came out, so it worked out.
I do think the other issue is that I counterpicked things that prevented points for other people, which is good, but it's not anything that net me points, which is kind of an issue.
Yeah.
I will say the last two things on the list here, these are things that replaced picks that I had made at the beginning of the year, and it was at the point very late in the year where I knew they weren't coming out, so I had to replace it with something that was coming out in 2024, and then they
Yeah.
didn't end up coming out anyway. So
Wonderful. Moving on to Brett's list, which we'll go through really quickly because Brett's not here to explain his decisions. But he made some good ones. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, he snuck out from under me and netted him a solid 93 points. That probably is my game of the year on our list while I'm thinking about it. But Persona 3 Reload did super well as well. Metaphor Refantasio did great. And then I think the rest of the time, Brett just kind of sat in like the 6 to 7 territory with most of his games.
it's Star Wars Outlaws, which I wish he was here to explain that because I'm very curious his
Yeah.
reasoning behind that.
Yeah, I'm curious about that too because I feel.
I
like
think it's because
Brett
he didn't want
feels like
you to
the
have
least
it,
likely.
if I'm remembering correctly. I think it was
Oh,
a spite
okay.
reason.
Well, you know what? He only got 5 points out of it, so he can have it.
Yeah, I
I'm
honestly
surprised
expected
it scored
Aiden
that
to
high.
do better. And I also think if Snake Eater had released, he would have been much higher, and Resistor. But yeah, there was a few other things too. The lack of a Final Fantasy IX remake didn't do anything. But he did pick Call of Duty, I think, as his nightmare, and it did really well. So, still get some points. And then Stellar Blade did good. Just a lot of like middling things here. We were hoping for more with Gundam Breaker 4, I think. In Slitterhead,
It's fun. But I guess
66.
it just, scoring wise.
I did almost.
Yeah, it's fun. It just
counterpick-
doesn't do anything too crazy. I think a
I did
7's a
almost
pretty fair.
counterpick Slitterhead. I was very close to counterpicking Slitterhead.
Would have been fair. And Brett's real win here was getting the Suicide Squad pick that Alex had
Yeah.
as a counterpick, and getting to run with that one. That was a very useful pick for him, I think. All right, we got to go all the way back up now, past the winning stuff to Crab Ranked Goons, which is our other Alex's list here, and you did very well. Alex and
We
I
were
were
neck and neck for so long.
until I think December. We were literally
Yeah.
within like 0.1 of each other again, and I was really worried there was going to be a tie for the second year in a row, which would have been insane. But yeah, Dragon's Dogma did pretty well. Not amazing, but very well, I would say, considering. And I'm
Wait,
honestly
did that come out
surprised,
this
like-
year?
Yeah.
Oh, I can change up my ranking stuff. I can put that some places.
Yeah, Dragon's Dogma's in there. Black Myth Wukong did pretty well. Shadow of the Erdtree came out and did really well. You also got a number of like really good indies that I'm surprised did not score higher, being Dungeons of Hinterberg and World of Goo 2. I'm really surprised we're not
Dungeons of
sitting.
Yeah.
Deserves to be higher.
Dungeons of
in my
Hinterberg,
opinion.
I would see it as 9. I don't know why
Okay.
it's not there.
Easily.
But
Yeah.
Easily.
yeah, you had a really solid ring of first picks with even Paper Mario and then Tekken 8 being on that list. Raven lost you some points, which we
I
thought
was
was going to be
surprised
good.
about, unfortunately. Oh well.
Yep.
I was
Transformers
surprised by your
Reactivate.
Zenless Zone Zero counter pick and seeing how you like it now.
I'm still playing that game. I'm still playing Zenless Zone Zero and enjoying it quite a bit. So, I got to eat my own words on that one. Graven was the disappointing one. Transformers Reactivate, which this was the placeholder for our Dream Transformers game coming out. Not only
Yeah.
did our Dream game not come out, but Transformers Reactivate got canceled.
Yeah.
And, if anything is crushing dreams, that is. And Elder Scrolls 6 is bad as your nightmare, Alex, which means next year you do get to pick Elder Scrolls 6 with no competition should it come out.
Oh boy.
All
This is
right.
great. We'll have another year where you're going to waste points on Elder Scrolls 6 because it ain't coming out.
We're not seeing it until 2028.
Honestly, Alex just picked like 3 really well-scoring expansions.
That's true. Oh god, yeah.
Final
Destiny,
Shape and Vessel of Hatred as well.
Diablo, yeah.
Coming up some points here for you. And honestly, Alex, had you not counterpicked 2 games that scored very highly, you would have won.
I wasn't sure what else to counterpick though, because
Okay.
I'm just like everyone else is. I feel like is picking good stuff, and
What-
then Alex, but most of his stuff's been counterpicked already.
What was your thought process behind Hellblade 2? I am genuinely curious.
I think for Hellblade 2 was I thought that it was going to score in the mid 70s, so I wouldn't lose that many points.
We also, as a reminder, at that
Okay.
time had only had the one Game Awards trailer
Yeah.
to go off of, so there's very little to go off of. I can kind of understand that. I get Dune Awakening
It,
being up
it might have been
there.
that, or based on how early I picked it, I might have thought that it wasn't going to come out.
Yeah. And you picked
That's
Call of Duty
fair.
Black Ops 6, which I understand your own personal hatred for Call of Duty, but
Yeah.
that game's great.
That cost me.
that cost you
That
some
cost me
points.
dearly.
But otherwise, good showing. And then
I'm
finally
surprised
punished.
That Deep Rock Galactic Survivor didn't even get a review score.
Yeah, it's because it's sitting in early access and just didn't get scored.
Damn.
Yeah. Same with Rift
we
of the
play-
Necrodancer, actually. I don't think that's in early access yet. I'm surprised that didn't come out.
Its demo's
Uh,
available.
Deep Rock
Demo's
Survivor
available, but it's not out.
It's a good like Survivor-esque, like Vampire Survivors-esque game.
Yeah, I had fun with it. Okay, so to the winning picks, Punish Venom Jafar, and this was our league, Jafar Rising with Vengeance, and that is what happened. Jafar came back and rose, and Punish Venom Jafar came to take back the crown, with picking Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth as my first pick, which did very well for me. Dawn Trail did just okay, because it is a little bit more middling than the other 14 expansions. Prince of Persia Lost Crown came in swinging, and I think we all of us that played that really enjoyed it.
Deserved it.
Unicorn Overlord did great.
Higher than an 87, I would say. A little bit higher than that. I'd say
I would
it's
give it a
solid
9. Solidly,
Absolute solid 9.
sitting at a
yeah.
solid 9 for me. Unicorn Overlord, super unique strategy game. Earth Defense Force 6, I knew this would not be a big point scorer because Earth Defense Force games are always 7s, but if I didn't pick it, I would have felt like I was betraying myself. And so I had to pick Earth Defense Force 6, which is still very fun. Rise of the Ronin, which I forgot came out this year until this moment. It is a fun game, but
play that.
About an 7 to 8 fits well for that. I was still on the train of Metroid Prime 4, and by golly, I'm still going to be on the train of Metroid Prime 4 this year. So I still want to see that game coming out and being scored highly, but I'm just waiting, sitting, replaying the Metroid Prime remaster over and over. Plucky Squire, which I'm honestly surprised didn't get higher, but I've heard some...
8 is about appropriate for it.
Yeah.
8's a solid, 80 solid score. It's a good game.
Tales of Kinzera Zao, which I honestly would have given an 8, I think, so it's pretty close to where I would have put it. League of Legends MMO being my dream, of course did not happen, and I assume probably won't happen for another 6 years.
Hey, you got Arcane Season 2.
Yeah, I did get Arcane Season 2, and I was pretty happy with it, so I would love more, though. I think that's where I'm sitting at that. Final Fantasy VI Remake was my... Oh no, the League of Legends MMO was my nightmare. The Final Fantasy VI Remake was my dream. And the 6 Remake, I'm still holding out hope that it's going to happen. I want an HD 2D 6 Remake, and it would be so much fun to have. The Splatoon 3 DLC I thought would do way better than it did. I figured that would be like an easy 85. Didn't happen. Grim Blue Relink was really fun, but didn't score super high. Same with Last Epoch. I really like both of these games. Kunitsugami also... I would have given this a 9. Assassin's Creed Shadows didn't come out. Another Crab's Treasure, I feel like that's about right. Anton Blast came in at the end of the year and gave me a bunch of points, and I was happy with that. Astrobot, highest scoring game I think any of us have was Astrobot.
That was crazy.
Very happy with Astrobot.
I really didn't expect that.
Game of the year, baby.
I mean, I didn't think it was going to be bad. I just didn't know it was going to be that good.
It's a great game. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, I just put on here because I wanted a couple of points, and it was a slot that I had open. I figured that would work, and it did.
Had incredibly low reviews right away, but like user reviews on Steam.
I think it's because the servers had some problems in the first day or two.
I think there was like some weird issues installing it as well.
Yeah. But I've been playing a little bit of it with my flight stick set up, and it's a very fun flight sim. Mario and Luigi Brothership was my surprise pickup because I think it got announced early this year, and wasn't, at the time we did the draft, wasn't announced. Same with the Dragon Quest III remake, added that in after a Nintendo Direct, and was very happy with it. Then I counterpicked... I feel like the Vampire the Masquerade counterpick hurt my soul a little bit, because I want that game to be really good, but I felt like it wouldn't come out, which I was right about. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, I didn't know why anyone else counterpicked Killer Clowns from Outer Space, because with a name like that and working on a Killer Clowns from Outer Space game in the year of our Lord 2024 really surprised me. And I felt like it had to be explained.
It's higher than I was expecting.
I thought it would get me more points. It didn't. It's sitting at basically a perfect 7. And then Zenless, I basically counterpicked just because there was some like hubbub about the game before it came out that people were worried from the beta period or something. Turns out I was completely wrong. It's a really good game. I've continually played it since then. It's basically the only mobile game I play right now, so I had to eat my own words. That said, I still won by a solid 25 points over Alex with that, so I'm pretty happy with the result of this year. And as such, I get to dole out our punishments for next year. So first, I'm going to give us the group one. And this is a two-parter group one, because one I think will be legitimately fun, and one I just want to see what craziness is going to happen. So first of all, I think you've all heard of a little game called Chained Together.
Oh,
oh
boy.
And I figured like that'll be a really fun time to just do a stream night of that. That'll be a fun, simple stream. And then the second part of this is, as you all mentioned, there's a game called Atlas. Now, I'm not talking about the Arc Atlas. I'm talking about the furry MMO.
Yep. I fucking
see how many friends do I have playing this?
Is a very fun game, but it is kind of covered in a layer of questionableness that I think will make for a good stream, especially with Wyatt there.
This one, ATLYSS?
Yeah, ATLYSS is the game.
I've heard some good things on other Discords I'm on, though I never even looked into it until now.
I'm just really excited to see Wyatt contend with that control scheme. Because I don't think you're going to like it.
Already own this game.
Yeah, me and Brett do. Because we play a bunch of insane games. Get a lot out of it.
I swear to God, like every game I go to on Steam, you own it, Ryan.
Hey,
look,
your friends,
that's what 10 years of Humble Bundles will do.
It doesn't matter if your friends will judge you. You'll just have to answer to God.
Yep. All right, Wyatt, I'll go to yours next because you're aware of what it is. So this challenge, it's also technically a group challenge, but Alex and I are not going to be having a bad time. So Alex and I are going to take you through a Destiny 2 dungeon. And that's the conceit of this one. You have to do and finish a Destiny 2 dungeon with us. We're not going to pick one that's crazy difficult or anything. We're going to pick one that's fun, and then we're going to make you go through it and have a good time. And I'm just very excited at the pain on your face right now. Alex Wood, your game is going to be, you have to install and download Zenless Zone Zero.
Okay.
And play that for a stream.
I thought that might be what it was.
Which I'm really curious how this is going to go, because I think they've redone the early game to be different. All right. I'm interested. I'm really just excited for your reaction to the cutscenes. On your computer. Install it on your computer, not your phone.
Oh, okay.
You're going to play it on the PC.
You told me. I told you I hated mobile games.
So. Well, yeah, but I can't record you playing a mobile game. That would be the problem.
Try.
You're welcome to play it on your phone if you would like to. Alex Labella, your challenge, because it's free to play now, is for us to stream The Sims 4.
Oh no! Oh god!
And I'm probably gonna set a challenge for you, so it's not just you're streaming The Sims 4, try to figure out how to play. We're gonna do a fun thing, maybe like a how fast can you kill the family or something type stream, all sorts of things like that. There's lots of fun challenges with The Sims. For those that don't know, I'm a big Sims player and have played basically every part of The Sims 4. Even though I think The Sims 3 is better. But, Alex, I think you'll have a fun time, and I'm curious to see what the free-to-play experience of The Sims 4 is like.
Is it free on Steam or Epic?
It's free on... It might be free on Steam. I don't know if it's on Steam. I have it on Origin. So, actually, I think it is on Steam.
I think it's on the Xbox store with Game Pass.
Oh.
Well,
I was going to... that's the true punishment, downloading Origin.
Yeah, you can download it through Steam. Yeah, free to play on Steam.
Wonderful.
Origin.
That way we don't have to deal with Origin, which is a finicky launcher. I think technically
it's called the EA launcher now. I know because it made me uninstall Origin to get the EA launcher, and it did not work better.
And finally, Brett, who isn't here yet. Brett last year set some challenges that were a little bit harder and a little bit more, and they haven't happened yet. A little bit more mean-spirited. Whereas I try to lean into games I think are fun and just make people play a thing they wouldn't normally play. Brett makes it painful. So I took some inspiration from Brett for this one. And we have a 2-part challenge for Brett. The first part is that Brett must play Hawken Reborn. Yes! And that's the stream part. And then the second part, and that's going to be painful for his soul, and now I need something that's going to require effort and take time away from his plastic building of Gundams. He'll spend time on something, and that's part of the punishment. Is that Brett needs to make an educational presentation about Egypt based on the AC Origins Discovery Tour. Which he might legitimately enjoy that. I think it'll be really funny. I had a
professor in college that worked on those.
I think that'll be a very enjoyable experience. So.
Also, I got to distract. I just went, let me download Zenless Zone Zero right now. This game is 67
Yeah, it's like 70 gigs.
How does that fit on a phone?
Oh, well the phone textures are worse. The PC textures are high res.
I don't care.
Also, a lot of people have phones that are like over 100 gigs.
It is still like 50 gigs on a phone. It's not small.
That's wacky. That's nutty.
For a phone, it's huge.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is our list of punishments and non-punishments and the results of this year. We're going to be starting the one in the new year at the start of February, once we have Brett able to record again. We're going to shove us all into a room and make up a new league and go through things the fun way, and have a new challenge, hopefully, a new theme for this year. We're also coming up on our awards show for last year, which will also be in February, so we can get Brett in. So all of our end of year or start of year stuff for this year is going to be pushed into February just slightly. Next week is our Game Pass games. We're going to be going over the last list of those and picking some new ones. And whenever Wyatt can get to it, we have Veilguard coming up.
I'm working
By
on
the time we get to it, I'll probably have played it.
I swear.
What
Just
is the
waited
theme
on
for
it.
next year gonna be? The
Hey, you'll
Jafar
find out.
Wars, a new grope?
A new what?
A new what,
Sorry.
Alex?
Actually,
A
don't
new-
repeat that.
I think that was a Freudian slip. It won't be called that.
Alex, how many episodes have we done? We're at the very beginning. We're like, watch what you say. We are live. How many reminders do you need?
Well, I can't think of a better way to end the actual podcast portion of this and move into our shoutouts. Because this is the end of the show. It's time for shoutouts. Reveal your things.
Yeah, I got something.
Okay, now I can finally turn my camera on. Unzips.
Okay,
Don't say that too.
I'm gonna just move on.
What's happening? Can I leave this call?
I'm just gonna move on. Jesus H Christ. You know when you pick up a new hobby and your friends and your family start to pick up that you're in a new hobby. So like
Yeah.
a little while after you start this new hobby, everyone knows to get you things for that hobby, right? For me, that's board games. I've been trying to stockpile a nice collection of board games recently, to the point where I haven't even played everything that's on my shelf yet because I can only get so many people together for a certain amount of
The
hours a week.
backlog.
Yeah.
Welcome.
One board game that I have played that my girlfriend introduced to me is called Betrayal at House on the Hill, which is a
Oh
great,
yeah.
awesome board game. It's kind of like a dungeon crawler type thing. It's got this cool like occult theme. There's also like a mechanic where it's co-op, but then there's a twist and one person becomes a villain, kind of like at the end of the game. It's so much fun. And there's a card game variant called Betrayal Deck of Lost Souls, and I think I was showing you guys this a little while ago. I have not played this
I
yet.
had not seen that yet.
I have not played this yet because I'm trying. There's so many different board games that I'm trying to play at the moment. What I do want to shout out, so I can't speak as to the quality of the actual game. I'm sure it's a good time. What I do want to shout out is the gorgeous art on these cards.
That's like 90% of a good card game is gorgeous art.
Here, let me see if I can.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
Can I? Hold on. This is not working the way.
While
I
you're
want it.
adjusting that, I can also recommend there's a
damn it.
Dungeons and Dragons version of Betrayal at Baldur's Gate.
Ooh.
It's pretty
Oh,
fun
that's
too.
fun.
Oh, I didn't know that was based on
Oh
Betrayal
my
at House
god,
on
the
the Hill.
border? Is
Yeah,
that
there's a
like
cool-
filigree
That looks
fake
good.
gold?
There's
Oh,
like
it's
a gold,
holographic.
there's like a gold trim, like a holographic trim,
That's so
and-
pretty.
and just like such gorgeous. It's the exact same size as like tarot cards, and it's got that kind of like vibe to it as well. They just look so pretty. Especially these like character cards. Like, look at this craziness. Oh, there's so much like
Oh, that's
style.
that's like cyberpunk tarot.
I know,
Oh,
it's like
that's
there's so much
awesome.
style and like the use of color is amazing. There's so much like character just with the
that one's not like
portraits and
cyberpunk.
stuff. Even the box is great. Like it's got the title on the front. Again, it's got that
Ooh.
kind of gold foil, but like it's also got this like fake wear. Like it's kind of like a cloth box because the
Ooh.
whole
Very
point
cool.
is that the Deck of Souls is like one of the haunts that happens in the base game. So it's kind of like the board game on like a micro scale. It just it's so gorgeous. So that's my shout
Very
out. Well
cool.
done. Artist, they should have it on the box somewhere. Oh no, I don't see it. They usually have the artist on the box somewhere. Well, I don't know who it is, but you killed it. You absolutely nailed it.
It's probably in the
whoever
instruction
you
book or
are.
something.
Whoever you are, well done.
Very cool.
I have to turn the lights on for my shout out so I can actually show it in the camera at this point.
I'm scared.
Oh,
We're waiting in
you should be.
anticipation.
It's a foreboding shout out because I was about to click the hang up button. No, the Box of Doom.
Ace.
We got the light behind you. It's hard to
What
see,
is?
but
What is
Yeah.
is it a
that?
dice tower?
It's a dice
Oh
tower
my god!
modeled after the one that they use in a bunch of the Dimension 20 stuff on Dropout.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And I thought it was moss at first whenever I would see it in the show, but the little like bits, it's hard to see on the camera, but the green yellowish bits in the nose and eyes, those are other smaller skulls.
Yep.
Oh.
And and I also got a set of the Bad Kids dice set from Dimension 20, which is
Their dice
it's
sets
not
are
like
really nice.
it's a D20 for each of the different characters. First time I rolled them in the Box of Doom, 3 of them were nat ones.
Nice. Those dice are cursed now.
Yep.
Oh no.
I fubbernucked it.
All right, Alex, you got a shout out?
Yeah, I'll just kind of go on a similar theme to Alex. Shout out to getting to be able to play Dungeons and Dragons in person.
Ooh.
I got a group together a while back, and we haven't really been able to play much, especially with the holidays going on. And I've been playing online primarily for a long time, so I found a kind of a group of folks that were totally separate from that group I've been playing with a long time, just to refresh and play in person. And it's been so long since I've had a chance to play in person that it was pretty fun to get a little session off at a kitchen table.
Very fun.
Nice.
All right, I have both a good shout out, which is the final book of the first part of Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archive set of books has just launched, and it's very big. It's
God.
I think it's 1,400 pages.
That's Stephen King level thick.
Oh, it's bigger.
What? So you just put
There is an audible thunk when you put it down.
So you just put a different cover on the book War and Peace.
Yeah, for sure. That's the nice part of the shout out. I haven't read it yet, so I'm very much looking forward to. The sort of like anti shout out, I guess you could say, because this is a bad habit to have gotten back into, is our couple of work friends play Magic the Gathering, and that's a problem because I used to be very hard into Magic the Gathering. Played a lot of that game back in the day. And so what wound up happening is with them telling me that they play Magic the Gathering now, I had to go retrieve all of my cards. And now I have binders of Magic the Gathering cards.
Oh my god.
Stored here. And I'm just
literally just had to move my binder so I could sit here for this podcast episode.
Yeah, they're in the stair thing next to me. I have huge amounts of Magic the Gathering cards just sitting in the room. Some of them quite fun, and some of them very valuable because I played mostly like 10 years ago, and so I just have a lot of things that have kind of aged ever since and done very well. So, very nice, but also a big shout out to the way that Magic does some of their cards. There's a little at the bottom. You can always read the name of the artist. If I can get the this flipped the right. They always have the names of the artists on the bottom there, which is very nice. Very handy thing for them to have. Do you know who the cards are from? It's great if you like the art.
Wonderful.
On that note, I think we're done with the podcast for this week. For our Fantasy League wrap-up. And look forward to the start of our next one. I'm sure it will be equally as bloody and filled with horror and
I'll
bad
try not
picks.
to pick anything just for memes this time.
Look, someone's got to take me down legitimately. And we'll catch you next time. As always, Tuesdays, podcast platform of your choice, YouTube and Twitch. Like and subscribe if you want to do that.
Would be pretty cool if you did.
I do love the narrative arc that we had where we didn't get Alex's cam, and then by the end of the episode, somehow we ended up with Alex's cam.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
What an arc.